Across the country, tornado season has gotten off to a destructive start, including a record number of tornadoes for a single day in Indiana. We continue our conversation with Matthew Elliott at the Storm Prediction Center about this year's tornado season.
It's been a very active, cool season, really from November all the way up until late March. And I think, as you mentioned, it culminated in kind of the biggest day of the year and of the past couple of years, really, March 31st of this year. You know, with the event that covered multiple states. I think it was the fourth, currently stands as the fourth most tornadoes for any given day on record. So certainly a notable day. But if you just take the whole sum of the cool season, has also been very busy. If you look back at the most active cool seasons, which are really November through March time period, the top 7 of them are all La Nina years. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that just because you're a La Nina, you're going to be active. We've had some quite, below normal La Nina years as well. But it does mean that the potential is there for some increased activity, and really where we saw it this year too, across portions of the Southeast, Mississippi, Alabama, and those are really kind of the favored areas for increased activity in the cool season for La Nina. Also this year, semi-related, is that we've had the low-level moisture really just hasn't been pushed really far into the Gulf of Mexico after a cold front has surged across the Southeast. And that leaves the moisture much closer to the coast. And so as the next system approaches, it's able to be pulled in much easier and allow for more organization of the thunderstorms through time, as opposed to previous years where the moisture, or other years where moisture just isn't good enough and the tornado potential is just much less for most of the events that you'd see in the cool season. So really it's been kind of a dual factor there this year. Severe weather does not care about the calendar. It can happen at any time, but of course, each part of the country has their kind of typical peak season. For your area, we're talking about the Indiana, Michigan area, kind of the late May into July, with the tornado peak season really being in the June timeframe, where you typically are going to also get potentials for really strong convective complex systems that kind of form to your west and then traverse to your east, and potentially the potential for derechos as well during that time frame where it's just real hot and humid. So really, it's kind of the build-up now, as you might have a few events throughout the early part of May that kind of reach up into your area, but things will certainly become much more consistent with threats every couple of days as we head into late May and into early June. So now is the perfect time to really be going over your severe weather preparedness plans in advance of that time. Stay away from windows, get into an interior closet or hallway, or a basement is the best possible location. And then just ride out through the warning. Make sure you have a way to keep track of it through time. Making sure your batteries have been charged and your no-weather radio. You make sure you have your apps downloaded. Get prepared now. Walk through your plan with your family so that everybody knows what to do depending on where they are, whether it's at work, whether it's at a school. Now's the time to get on the same page, because if you're trying to do it when the warning is issued and the storm's on your doorstep, it's very difficult and it's really hard to make the decisions at that time. So do it now when you're in the right frame of mind to do it and you're not dealing with the stress of the storms.
For a long time, flash flooding seemed more like an inconvenience than severe weather. But that all changed in August 2016. Reports and estimates so far topping 4 to 5 inches of rainfall, and that's why we're breaking in. This is what I would actually consider a flash flood emergency. This is the worst flooding that I have seen. But it keeps happening. I'm in an empty parking lot here in Mishawaka, but back in July 2021, this was far from dry. More than 4 inches of rain fell in just a few hours' time. During heavy rain and flash flooding, seek higher ground. Stay out of the deep water. You don't know how deep or dirty the water is, or worse, you could be washed away or even drowned. Heavy rain and flooding is now a more regular occurrence. 4 of the 5 wettest days in South Bend history have occurred since 2008. A warmer climate means the atmosphere can hold more water. Michiana is not alone. More rain means more flooding for many parts of the United States. Thank you for watching Project Tornado, and remember what you learned today. Talk to your family about finding your safe spot and practice your at-home severe weather drill. And when severe weather hits, turn to the ABC57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather team to keep you safe and the ABC57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather app. For the ABC57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather team, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Coombs. Thanks for watching.